Welcome to the Faith Story videos of Our Savior's Lutheran Church. Today I'm interviewing John Ingebritson. John and his wife Marlene have been members here since 1971, and both have been very involved in our church family by being in the adult choir, teaching Sunday school, working on the sets for VBS. Marlene also helped teach VBS. She's also part of the mission team. John has been on the trustee board, on stewardship team, very involved in the men's Bible study since the 1990s. And they both worked on the funeral committee as well. Both John and Marlene have given so much to our church community through the years, and we're very appreciative of that. I'd also like to add that John was the one that designed our church stained glass window in the sanctuary with the lilies. He's also quite an artist. But almost more importantly, I'd like to add that John served our country for 3 years and for 1 year in Vietnam as an infantry platoon commander in the Marine Corps. Thank you to all the veterans this Veterans Day. And thank you, John, for being willing to share your faith story with us. So, John, can you tell me, what was your church and faith like as a young person?
I remember our family was very church-oriented and going to church at a very young age. And one Sunday, I tried to be good in church. And
Is tried the operative word there?
This wonderful, nice lady sitting in front of me smiled and turned back and gave me a stick of gum, and I thought, what a reward. And there was lots of nice ladies in church. My early Sunday school teachers were very kind. I remember going with my mother to the kitchen for different events she worked on, and how nice the ladies were, and they would give me treats, and they'd even give me coffee with cream and sugar.
Oh my gosh.
And this is preschool years. So
do you still like coffee?
Well, we were Norwegian, you know.
Oh, there you go. Was it a big church?
It was. There was 4,000 members.
Oh my.
And in my church confirmation class, there was 100 students. They divided us in half, and we had 2 ministers, and so we had confirmation in 8th grade and 9th grade, and we had every Saturday during the winter months or during the school season. And so I remember that. And the other thing I remember about confirmation is we memorized Luther's small catechism.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. And we had to write it on Saturday during the, portions of it.
Yeah.
During our 9th grade confirmation year. And I couldn't get out of the house on Friday night to go to the football game unless I was able to recite my portion that I had to learn that week of the catechism.
Wow. And what town was this?
This is Albert Lee, Minnesota.
In Albert Lee.
And Pastor Knudsen was our pastor, and later he went on to be the bishop of our synod. So
neat. So how was your church and faith like as an adult and married person living in New Ulm?
Living in New Ulm was a natural because Pastor Spencer came to Marlene when I was teaching school here. This is the first and only place that I've taught school. And she said, well, we were going to join the church anyway. But he was a very kind person and a very good person. And so we joined the church, and Marlene is a very good singer. Mm-hmm. And so I can sing a little bit, so I would go with her to church choir and enjoyed it very much.
And still members of our church choir, which is great.
Yeah, for all those years.
All those years, right.
And so the other part of church that really meant a lot to me was the men's Bible study. That was started by Pastor Paul Rohde, who we would study one book in the Bible. We started out with Genesis, of course, and that was very meaningful, the way we did that. And Pastor Rhodey, after he left our church, went as the campus pastor at Augustana College in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and that's where both Marlene and I went to college. And so that was...
that's a nice connection.
Yeah, so that was a connection. And so I've been involved in the men's Bible study group since that time, and it's been very meaningful. Also, we have an opportunity for adult Sunday learning experience between services. And I like to go to those because I feel like the more I can learn and understand about my faith and religion and our church is important.
Yep, and we can learn something new all the time.
There is.
Yeah. So, just last February, you and your wife and 8 other adults from Our Saviors went to the southern border of Texas on a mission trip. Can you tell us about that experience?
I will. I really think it came out of Marlene's idea and talking with some other ladies. And of course, I was willing to go, and I found that it was a most worthwhile experience. 10 of us went to the southern border in Texas, and there was a pastor, Hugo Moya, who has a mission church there, and he and his wife are serving these group of Latinos and people in their service, and he has purchased a building that is a steel frame building that used to be a center for people who would come down in the summertime and bring their mobile homes.
Oh.
But that no longer was a viable business, and so he was able to purchase this, and part of our mission was to clean out half of it, strip the drywall off, and I was amazed at all the work that, and he was too, that these older retired people and 8 ladies and 2 men were able to get done.
Wow.
And so
is that building to be used for church services then? Or what was it to be used for?
That building will be his mission church.
Oh, okay.
Half of it. And the other half will be housing for refugees.
Oh, wonderful.
And so it's quite undertaking. When we got down there, we worshiped in his service, and that was in a side room of a tire company, tire business. On Sunday they were even open and working, and we could hear in the background the work that they were doing, but it was very meaningful, that service, and the people that were involved, they're very much appreciative, the Latinos. And so then on the next day, we'd made quite a few kits for hygiene here, and then we got down there and we made a whole lot more. We had over 300 kits.
Oh, wow.
And so we took these hygiene kits and water over the border to Matamoros, and that's where the largest tent city on the southern border of the United States is located. There's some over 2,000 tents, and these are people that came from war-torn countries in Central America. And so they live in these tents, and they, of course, welcomed Pastor Hugo, because he would come and kind of bless them and give them faith strength that they so much needed. And then we would help pass out hygiene kits to those that needed the hygiene kits and wanted them, and water. And that was on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we went across the border to an orphanage. And we saw what they had in this orphanage is very secure. And they had a boys' side and a girls' side for young children. At that time, they had just a little over 20 children.
Was this across the border in the tent city?
This is in another part of Mexico, a little bit further to the west of Matamoros. And we had to go and meet the director, and he took us in his large van to this orphanage. And otherwise, we probably wouldn't dare to go on that part of the city. And the cartel gave him the security so that he didn't have to worry about the cartel or anybody causing any harm. Inside, it was a very nice, neat, clean school. They had school teachers. They had a very neat and clean and stainless steel kitchen. And then they had a housing for the girls, and they had a housing for the boys, and well provided for. So it was a very important part. And we were able to donate $400 towards their mission.
Oh, wonderful.
And then the next day, we ended up working for 2 days on that project I talked about, his mission church that he's building. And we were then able to give from the donations that we got from our church $1,500 to Hugo, Pastor Hugo and his wife. And it was tear-jerking for him to receive that much funds.
And support from
and
people.
Support from us people up in Minnesota.
That's fantastic.
And so it was very meaningful for all of us. We felt like it was a
it sounds like a
trip.
Wonderful mission trip. Were there any surprises? Did anything surprise you when you got down there?
Well, Pastor Hugo, the way he supported himself, he worked as a custodian in the school. And he did have training as a minister. And he gave so much of himself, and his wife gave so much of herself to this mission that it was more than full time. And their children are adult now, and one of them we met with, Jonathan Moyer. He's married to a teacher up in Shakopee, Minnesota, and that's kind of how we got connected. And he helps his father find people that want to do these mission trips.
It's truly a heartfelt mission for them down there.
It is.
Yeah. What's the biggest takeaway from that mission trip for you?
Well, it was disappointing to find that our border is not as friendly as it could be. The separation that has taken place from the young and the parents is tragic, and what I know about Latino people is that they're very hardworking, they're very kind,
they're
family oriented. And of course we hear about the gangs and things that happen with young people that lose their families or have to support themselves or for some reason go astray. And that can happen to even our children. So it's in my thinking, I really, my heart goes out for these people. Another thing that we did do is the World Central Kitchen. And we went in and we helped make over 3,000 meals, because they would take these meals that would be enough for one person in Tent City to survive on.
Mm.
And they do this all over the United States.
Mm.
And I don't know if they do other countries, but how important their mission is.
And what's the name of that again?
World Central Kitchen.
World Central Kitchen. That's
And-
important.
And it is, it's well supported by people throughout this country. So it's extremely well run.
That's wonderful.
So that was impressive too.
Well, John, I can't thank you enough for all the service that you've done. You've given us so much great information. Thank you so much.
Thank you.